Hey, One Love family, Wholeness and Balance. What's up? Just G here again, doing two lives today because I got my juicer washed up and I got a message from Nabiha like, oh, I was about to join. Would you still like to talk? And I said, yeah. So, hey, Lou Corona, greetings and welcome. Man, Lou Corona, you are an inspiration. You may be one of his media people, but I just got a shout out since you showed up. Lou Corona was when I made my switch to raw foods in 2011 and started getting into sun gazing and the breatharian path, all that stuff. Dan McDonald, Lou Corona, and uh, David Wolf were my huge inspirations. And Nabiha is going to join now. I'm just giving my cat a little coconut oil. There you go, kitty. And let her on. Greetings, family. And we're just going to have one of our usual conversations. Get this going. Fireside, straight up. It's cold here today. Nabiha!
Hey,
Hey, blessings!
hi, how are you, brother?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. That's a cute dog.
That's Bodhi dog. This is my son's dog.
Oh,
He's he's a sweetie. We're babysitting right now um,
cute.
for him because yeah, they are going on some vacations and stuff, and Bodhi likes to come up here where he can run around and play with the dogs without a leash and be on the farm and everything. So it's
Mm-hmm.
and it's nice
Freedom.
for my old dog Shadow because he's been without his pack since the last couple dogs died. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's still light outside there. This is here. It feels like it's night.
yep. The sun is just starting to set, but it's been a cold, cloudy day. Woke up, it was negative, or it was 10 degrees this morning. It was -1 yesterday,
Yeah.
and no snow, but cold,
Negative what?
and
-1.
yeah. So
Yeah.
just,
It's -17 here today.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We get that some
Yeah.
pretty rare. So, but it's great to see you. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. I'm doing much better than a few weeks ago when I was in Florida with that
Yeah.
cold. And yeah, I don't know if I told you. Yeah, I think I told you in a voice message or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't even get up from the bed. It was like headache, vomit, and I don't know where it came from. It just hit me right after the New Year's Eve.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Interesting.
but then Daniel got the same, and yeah, people around me got the same, and
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Makes me think of like the sort of the Taoist, idea of like there's the way they put it is when the belt fits, you don't notice it. When the shoe fits, you don't feel it. And it's like when you're well, you actually don't notice,
Mm,
you know.
mm,
And then you get sick, and you're like, wow, being well is amazing. I could just feel well right
mm,
now.
mm,
That would
mm.
be the best, you
Yeah,
know.
I think about it every day.
Hmm. On the
That,
emotional level too. I mean, you know
hmm,
what I mean?
hmm. I
Not just the
mean, everybody wants to feel good,
yeah,
right? But it's just that the I think like the habits that we have created or the belief system we have created about what feels good. Like someone will go for food, someone will go and stuff themselves, or get more items, more stuff, more cars, more houses, more shoes, more clothes, whatever. Like that's not fulfilling us, right? But like being empty, like from a lot of foods and like what that has. Like when you empty from a lot of foods, you don't have like a body aches, you don't have like, headaches. You don't have, your body's not limited, you know? So then
Hmm.
you will realize, oh my God, I don't need so much in my body, because the more I accumulate in my body, the slower I get. Right? So it's like less is more when you realize that is what I want to get to. I know I talk too much.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I appreciate all of your wisdom and everything you share. You're very wise. You're very observant, and you
Oh, thank
communicate
you.
well. So you just, I got nothing but love for you. You just be you.
Thank you.
I do get eager to speak. My trial is that I have to like listen more as an Aries.
Hmm.
The medicine of listening and being attentive to other people. I was talking on the last slide with like we just moved from North Node Pisces to North Node or into North Node Pisces, and so this is affecting us all differently because North Node is like your kind of your destiny, your trajectory, you know, and so
Mm.
as an Aries, the opposing side is Libra, and that's my North Node, into, and I love being with people and I love my people, but I definitely, my comfort zone is to be to myself.
Okay.
We want to feel good, but our evolution usually takes us out of comfort, you know, like fasting and, not eating. You feel the pains of hunger at first, but your body adapts and becomes better at
Hmm.
it. It becomes, no,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
And I think the other thing he said that was really wise that translates, to like the mental, spiritual, emotional aspect is all this stuff that you put in your body. Your body, I think of as your subconscious mind. It is. I mean, the nerves, you have more nerves and neurons below the neck than you do above in terms of the
Hmm.
ganglion around your heart and your gut microbiome and your all the way out to the ends of your fingers. Your fingertips have wisdom and knowledge and intelligence, you know. And so the more we stuff in our body, or we uh, have it's part of my issue with tech right now is I love to gather all the information. There's so much good stuff, but there gets to be too much, and then there's no emptiness, and you don't have an empty vessel that can receive. It's just full and overflowing, and there's a bit of confusion, that goes hand in hand with that, like on the physical and the, I think, spiritual. Oh, my foot's cramping up.
Hmm.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Um,
One thing to learn is to learn how to let go. You know,
yeah,
you
to
receive
receive.
something, you understand, you let go, keep on moving. But
Yeah,
we like to go and seek more knowledge, go and seek more this, seek more that. It's, I believe when we go and do that, it's just, yeah, accumulating more stuff.
I, I think it.
Again, like of too much information, too
I
much
think it.
books.
I think it's kind of inevitable.
Mhm.
I think it's like an ebb and flow, just like fasting and feeding or breathing in and out.
Mhm.
You know, we're meant to receive and to let go. You know,
Exactly.
to give
You don't hold
and
on to a breath, right?
to give it willingly, lovingly forth. Into creation, to have that sort of intentionality with each breath, to
Mm-hmm.
create vibrations,
Mm-hmm.
to create alternate timelines of more compassionate living, and you know trying to work that into your consciousness every day, and especially when you're confronted with the things that ping your fears and anxieties and your triggers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah,
And I
I
love this.
really, yeah.
No, after you. Or you.
No, I was just saying, yesterday we had the Pranalulia call with the family, the
Hallelujah.
Sunday,
Yeah.
our Sunday meetings.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know about that. Is that on
Yeah,
Telegram?
yeah, we have every
Okay.
Sunday. We used to have it more regularly, and then we stopped for a little while, and then we started up again, and family joined. So we were talking, I think yesterday we tapped into, how belief system and the things that we accumulate, the things that we do are just belief system that we have, adopted to, and how everything is literally just a rabbit hole. This whole reality is like rabbit holes, meaning that,
Yeah.
you go into this and you believe in this, that's a rabbit hole. And you go into that and you believe in this religion, or you believe in that culture, or you believe in this way, or you believe in knowledge, or you believe in science, or whatever it may be, like everything is just a box. It's it's
Mhm.
it's a it's a belief system.
The
And
other
without it we can't even live. Yeah.
the other acronym for belief system is just BS, as in bullshit, you know. And
Yeah.
the bullshit we tell
It makes
ourselves,
sense.
belief, knowing is different than believing. Knowing is something from your experience someone can't take away from
Hmm.
you.
Hmm.
But and that's something that resonates with me from the Buddhist belief system,
Hmm.
if you will, is that to not believe your thoughts and beliefs because they're just figments of your
Hmm.
imagination. Just trust the experience,
Exactly.
in the now and let it
Exactly.
unfold without attachment.
Exactly. Hmm.
Hey, there's Jerome. One love, Jerome. Well, you're welcome to join if you'd like, brother. We just hopped on for second round. I did some juicing, and then
Yeah.
Nabiha she's like, "Oh, I was getting on just as you were getting off," and so we decided to hop on in. So you're welcome to join, brother, if you like. I saw that
What do you
Jerome.
juice?
What did I juice? I made orange, carrot, beet juice, and then forgot to add in the last video. I added some dark cherry concentrate and some vanilla, and so it's kind of like a cherry orange vanilla uh, juice. Yummy.
You're
Mm-hmm.
creative. Yeah. You are
Playing.
creative. I would never have thought of that blend.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
love it's been part of my whole path to prana is like kitchen herbalism,
Hmm.
and sort of elixir craft, if you will. Hey, Jerome, I see you tried to get on there. I tried to accept, and sometimes it does this weird
I
thing.
see him though. He's
Oh,
on.
I'm here.
You don't
he
see
on?
him?
I'm
Oh, I
here.
You don't
can't
Yeah.
see
see
him,
him?
but hi, brother. Welcome. I don't see you, so that's why I didn't say hi.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm here.
Awesome. Welcome.
Hey,
How you doing today?
hey. Hey there.
I saw you interviewed Professor Spira today.
Yes,
How awesome!
indeed.
Wow.
Yeah, Nabiha was there too. She got to join
Oh yeah.
us.
Oh, cool. I'll have to watch the thing. He was one
I
of
have
my
to watch
original.
the
Well,
thing.
he's been one of the guides, as I was getting into liquiditarianism because of the whole Arnold Ehret connection,
Hmm.
and I
Yeah,
was
he
just
spoke a lot about Ono there. Yeah, he definitely. That's like the Bible for him.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's cool, man. Super cool. And he's a musician. He seems like totally vibes on the level, dude.
Yeah,
So
jazz musician, trombonist. Yeah,
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 cool,
for
man.
sure.
Cool.
So we spoke a lot about we covered a good amount. It was more than I thought. It was more than I thought we would. I had a lot of questions, but we covered a lot. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm gonna rewatch it
Awesome.
or watch like the tiny little piece, and I was like, oh, I gotta see that. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I'll have to get.
catch the last part. I don't know who he is. I know we follow each other. Just
Mhm. Been in the
yeah.
game for a long time. He's got this mentor, brother Air, who is like pretty much liquiditarian
Yeah,
breatharian. Lives on Long
I
Trail,
see some funny videos that he posts.
and they're
But I'm
both
Yeah,
sure that we follow.
musicians.
I like how
Hmm.
she said that though. She was like, I don't know who he is, but I know we follow each other. You know, I
Yeah.
like that. Who knows? Who knows who anyone is? We're just we really just
We just follow each. other.
Yeah, we just follow each other for sure.
That's something I'm kind of proud of. I feel like the three of us have actually developed an actual relationship, you know, through this medium. There's something I feel like innately deceptive about the social media medium,
Mm.
but even still, you know, it's like everyone's. I was just saying in my last live, you know, I think it's like show and tell for adults, which is a healthy, you know, function for us to be able to come and express our joys and our, you know, our struggles and our, you know, families and our all the things. But you know, designed to be super addictive and all this stuff. I just um I've been appreciating more time away from it and I feel more real in myself.
Mm-hmm.
The more time I kind of spend away, you know, and so I don't know. Even still, like that's why I'm here today. Like I was saying on my last live, I think I'm gonna try to make a move. It's my heart's intention. It's just there to move away from technology
Yeah.
and to find a different way, you know. And even other things like Ellie Tom put that post up the other day. I made the choice to lease my car 18 years ago, and best decision of my life. You know, it's like how many of these things that we attach to, similarly to the attachment to eating, um, keep us sort of limited from our true potential. You know, at least the potential of the experience that we can have. You know, in terms of fulfillment. But
Yeah. You would agree, Nabiha?
And
yes
yeah,
and
I
no.
mean, we all have different addiction. I think everything is just about balance, really.
You know, you've said that
Everything.
since day one. You've been so consistent with that message, Nabiha, since day
I mean, it's reality is still the same,
since day one.
still the same. Day one, day
Yeah.
two, it's just day one.
Yeah. She's like, it's just
Day
day
is
one.
still day one,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, literally everything is about balance and
Balance is
yeah.
the path.
She's been so
It is about
consistent. I remember years ago just hearing you say that years ago, and you still say it, and people just, you know, like waiting for people to catch it. Like, can you catch it? Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's an illusion, you know, that we we want something, you know, we're longing for something. We want, whether we call it pleasure, we want to call it you know, achieve a goal. We want to become something. We want to be something. We want more. We want to eat more. We want to buy more. We want to just, like, it's always something,
Yeah.
right?
But
We
just but
longing for something that we don't know, but I really believe it's just like we all come to the conclusion that it's all love, you know, and
well,
everybody wants love. We want to love.
we do, and we look for that, you know, enjoyment, like you were saying, pleasure and
But we
enjoyment and
look
things.
in the wrong places because
Yep,
there's nothing to look
it's
for.
empty. It's empty. It's self-grasping, and it doesn't fulfill to go after these things in the external to try to fulfill the internal needs. It just doesn't. It doesn't fit. Doesn't do the job. You know.
Yeah,
Wow.
but again, what is the job? You
Well,
know,
there is
like
actually it
what is,
does. You need the extra material, you know, support to support your life. But beyond a certain point, all the abundance that you can attract doesn't actually make you more. They've done all these studies about this. Doesn't actually make you more happy. You know.
yeah, but I mean, like
And
because of that happiness, that thing that we're looking for, we don't even know. Like I'm thinking, we call
because
happiness different things. Like different things bring us whatever we call happiness, right? But we are longing for something. We want something. There's something. But
well,
everybody think it's like, oh yeah, it must be that. You know,
well,
like we're
like you,
blindly guessing.
sorry,
You go,
like you
go,
said
go ahead, go
before,
ahead.
we you know grasp at this happiness, you know, these things for happiness, and you know we
kind of come up empty. And that's, the Buddhists would say, this is like the self-grasping nature of mind, you know, because this body, this ego consciousness needs to preserve itself and tend over its happiness. There's that level of self-care and self-love, but then it goes to other levels. Inherently, naturally has that propensity, you know. But if we train our consciousness to just not believe the thoughts, like we were talking about before, as they come up, putting all the stock and belief in the reality of things that are just in our imagination, you know, and then also moving your attention away actually to benefit and trying to help other beings. That's one of the most fulfilling things there are. People, the most fulfilling job on the earth in terms of happiness they've found is hospice care. People at the end of life who are dying and being supported, those people, you know, report being the most fulfilled
I can
overall.
see why. I can really see why.
You're learning to let go of your life and this clinging to your own, because you can't cling to this self going, man, you know. So
I see, you know, when I used to hear that when people that experience near death experience, or the people that, you know, experience that happiness, whatever that we're longing for, like now you described, you know, whatever we may call happiness, and then you describe like how to get to that, and but still we just don't know what we're looking for. We don't even know what we want to feel, right? Because when we get there, it's not that, and then we get there and it's not that, and it's like still like, you know, that
there,
empty hole, you know,
there
we're
are
just
things,
digging deeper and deeper.
there are
Hmm?
things that fulfill though, and those things are things like that, the care and loving, generating. In Buddhism we try to generate bodhicitta, a loving mind, you know. That's like the main goal, you know, just to be loving. And because they say the human mind has like something like 57,000 thoughts a day, the majority of which are critical, self-critical primarily, and then critical of everyone else. So we have to train our minds to think positively towards those around us, you know, and ourselves, to be able to grow out of this sort of base consciousness of like looking at everything like an enemy almost, you
Yeah,
know.
but I mean,
And
again, it's the balance.
by doing that,
Here now.
but the way to do that is to go without fear into loving action, and that develops merit. And you feel this, and when at the end of your life, you'd be like, you know, I'm glad I helped those people out. I overextended myself, I felt like at the time, but I'm really glad I did that. You know, those are the things that we carry. It's not, you know, it's not going to be, you know, our new shoes and how much money we made and our success in business. It's going to be what kind of
No, it's
impact
just
did.
like I want to get the core of it. Like all humans are looking, searching, we want, you know, like without that search, like we can't even exist somehow. Like so it's something that need to exist within us in order for us. But what I'm saying is, I think like the point that we need to get to is that we need to lose the illusion of thinking there is something that will get us to that high that we're looking for, right? So we need to admit that we have some type of lack, because we're creating the lack by looking for something that we need to reach, something that we need to have in order to feel this, in order to feel that. But if we accept that the good and the bad are the same, we need to just find the balance between all of that. You know, we wouldn't feel like we are searching for something. We want something. So
Yeah.
we would have understood, like, okay, there's an illusion in seeking. Does that make sense? Because
Well,
every time you
you're
seek,
spot on.
you accept that
You
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 lack
just
something,
become an
you know?
endless seeker. If you're seeking, you're endlessly seeking,
Yeah,
and
because
there's no
you just
finding.
accepting, because you create that lack within yourself where you think, okay, I lack this, so let me go and find it,
We
right?
get
But
in the
there is nothing
way,
to find, right?
we get in the way of our own fulfillment because we project it as something hard we have to achieve, like you say, you know. And the thing that's, you know, there's, you know, two Buddhist practices that like relate to this, and one is just like being content in the moment. That's the whole, you know. You don't have to
It's
be perfectly
possible.
content.
It's
You
possible,
just
like,
the best you can. You know, you may be in some very challenging circumstances and you feel like you're coming apart at the seams, but you just do the best you can, you know, and it
Mm-hmm.
grows your brain in that direction, you know.
Because whatever that makes you unhappy is all of your beliefs and everything that you
They're your
accumulated throughout your
limitations.
life. Because you know, when people are dying, or when they like leave their body, like when the soul or whatever essence that are within the driver leaves the body, it's like I say, like hell and heaven exist only in our mind. Hell and heaven is just a belief system that we have in our system. That okay, now I feel like, oh my God, hell is like I get punished and I'm gonna get into like this fire and this. It's just a belief system. But when I'm getting out of my body, that belief system stays with the body. So I would have some type of relief, right? So I don't have everything, all the belief that I accumulated throughout my whole life. When I step out of that, I will feel the sense of freedom that I have never sensed since I came to this earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of all the beliefs are the ones that just create the suffering. Because if you believe in this, you have this suffer, and then you have this suffering. So all the suffering will go away because you leave it with the body. You understand? So like when your heart stops and you leave, it's like, oh, I'm free
That's
because you just left the baggage.
that's the thing with you know, the theory of and understanding of reincarnation. As though that is true, you know, and you're reunited with that, you know, the Buddhists believe that's an opportunity actually for parinirvana, where you can actually transcend re-entrance into the cycle of suffering. And they always say that, you know, samsara, nirvana is in samsara. So that inclination to seek is part of that natural arising to try, because there is striving, but then there's blind striving, just trying to do everything and not really getting any. And you know, so the things that actually cause us this fulfillment are the things that build merit, and that habit, just like we've talked on many of our lives about, you know, developing the breatharian lifestyle, whatever, the habit that you build in this life, the more you can develop that loving heart, loving action, you know, the more that builds merit in future lives for us to easily come into that more fulfilling space and place of integrity, you know, and evolve as a soul intentionally. And the other thing that you hit upon that's super deep is this other connection with the body of heaven and hell being in the mind. And literally, heaven is like the heaved up place. You know, the dome of heaven is actually your brain, you know, and hell is more the Muladhara chakra down here in the root. And this circulating Kundalini energy, this process of, you know, the breatharian experience and meditating, allowing the cerebrospinal fluid to recirculate, we start to develop a natural, that whole thing, like you said, the seeking, instead of that, the practice of meditation in being content and at ease and at peace in the moment builds as have all habits build and grow, and then they have their own force, and you don't need to meditate as much. And I know this is all stuff you're aware of too, but I mean, it's just you know,
I'm not
my
aware
bent.
of it,
Oh,
no. I
No,
come
was
on,
never.
Nabiha,
I
come
was.
on.
I'm not. I have a different way of viewing things. You know, I would just say like, yeah, that's another belief system of believing in that and believing in that, and it's just another rabbit hole and another rabbit hole. So
well,
I'm
that's
open
another
to
thing. You
everything. You
know,
know, like
the
every day, whatever you say is new to me. And
the
I really mean it. You know, you can say it to me right now. It's new.
the real
You know.
rabbit hole that gives the most fulfillment, that creates the most ease and peace, is just to go into our inner core. You know,
Yeah.
not to retreat in depression, but to focus our gaze on the true fruit, the true, you know, contentment, the true juice and gold of living is inside in our emotions and in our experience, you know, and to, you know, cultivate it like you would land or a job or a, you know, anything. Like you put your energy in and it builds, and then it has its own life, you know, that nurtures you as you nurture like this sprout in your heart. That's yeah, some other Taoist shit. But that was also you know, part of my experience coming into breatharianism is I literally felt like there was this little green sprout that I needed to nurture, you know.
Sorry.
You see her? She's like,
I do.
oh my gosh. It's like I just see her vibe. Oh my goodness.
I'm always amazed how both of you actually remember, knowledge from these books and authors and
Well, a lot
yeah,
of it.
like you refer to so many, like writing academic papers. Where did you get that
Well,
information from? You can go and grab it. It's right
yeah,
there.
it's a fascination for me. It's
Yeah.
one of my heart passions, is this esoteric information, the hidden knowledge about our bodies, and stuff that are in the spiritual ancient traditions, and all the stuff about breatharianism, all the stuff about our happiness, all of us about becoming beings of light, being able to. I was just hearing about this thing. I wanted to mention it to you guys because they did some science on, some studies on animals after Chernobyl, and they thought they would all die of radioactivity and stuff, but they didn't. They ended up thriving, and these mushrooms and mice were able to change their pigmentation, more melanated actually, and they were able to absorb more radiation, and they're thriving. And it goes back to some studies about earlier biology and different, like, basically nuclear reactors that were natural, that were happening on the planet, that encoded the early DNA of all life to be able to be adaptive to, there's radiation, electricity, and magnetism. And so this force, that's what we're getting when we're sun gazing, and we can feel it nourishing us as pranic people. It's, you just feel it. It's obvious you're being fed when you're in it. And they talk about the potential of us evolving over like 10,000 years or something, to where we just see like ultraviolet and infrared and nourish from the different energy sources that appeal to us, instead of as breatharians, but in a kind of a different mode. So I think this is what's happening collectively, as we're becoming homo luminous, and we're becoming beings of light as light codes are activating our DNA, and we're waking up.
Yeah, the other day I talked to a lady and she called it Homo Celestius. Like there's so many names, like Homo Luminous, Homo Celestius is like getting away from just the traditional, Homo sapien or Homo genius. And when you're sun gazing, I always wanted to ask you this, Jesse. I don't know if I ever asked you this, but if someone was sun gazing through a window, like say they're in their car and the sun is coming through the windshield and they're gazing at the sun through the windshield, what's the difference between sun gazing through a windshield or a window versus like direct outside? Is there a big difference?
It's not as effective because most glass is made UV protective, so you don't get the UV, which UV has, a lot of healing benefits. People like shy from UV, but UV is really healing,
Okay, so it's the UV
Actually,
that's
how we made skin was UV radiation burning us until we made skin.
so it's blocking the ultraviolet. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Blocking the ultraviolet, which is actually what you want. Okay.
You want all the frequencies. You want the red light, the blue light, the ultraviolet. You're a light being, a multidimensional light being of, sound, light, and color. You need multiple frequencies to feed your light body.
Right. Right. And Nabiha, earlier when you were talking about like the striving, you like the never arriving and the constant striving, it kind of sounded like what people usually talk about, the ego. You ever heard people talk about the ego? Like the ego wants this and the ego wants that, and if we didn't have the ego, if there was an ego, that what would the point be without an ego? Is the ego our friend? Is it our enemy? Do we need to shun the ego? All this stuff. But I'm sure that you just feel like that's another belief system, right?
Your face tells all, sister.
Right?
And it's
I
beautiful.
mean,
I appreciate
it is definitely
So
another
that's
belief
not
system.
exactly what you're talking
Um,
about, is it?
I mean, everything is a belief, right? Uh,
Because sometimes when you speak, it's almost like it's on the tip of your tongue, or you wish you could communicate
yeah,
what it
but I
is, but
can't.
you can't
Uh,
communicate what it is. Yeah.
the Tao that
yeah, I
can.
can't communicate. It's like it's like I want to tell you, but then you have a belief that blocks you.
Mhm.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Mhm.
Like you, the receiver, has a block
Mm.
that however I convey the message, it blocks you from receiving. So that's why I start hacking. I'm like, should I say? And if even if I do, like you just it's not going in
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But
Does it make
what
you
I was
go
trying
ahead?
to say,
Yeah. Mhm.
what I was trying to say is just that nobody is living. Most people are existing,
Mhm.
right? It's
I
like
believe
we
there are
just
people that are living, but not very many.
no,
Yeah.
not very many.
Your
But then
heart
again, we have
has
a
to
different
think.
definition of the living, right? It's like, okay, hey, I'm looking for this pleasure, and when I reach somehow that kind of pleasure, I stop there and I'm there. But then again, it's just like
That's where the
it's.
pleasures are limiting,
I
you
mean, like
know.
who said that is better than this? Like where did the belief come from that this is comfort and this is not, and which one is better than what? Why we're running from one and why we're running towards another? And like, why is that struggle in place in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Like,
And
not saying like, okay, I'm comfortable because I reached a limit or a level where I feel like, okay, this is comfortable. But what made you believe that this is a comfortable person? What made you? It's the belief system in it. It's like you know what I'm trying to make.
So,
I do.
so you don't.
Here's the
You know?
difference. What I want to, if I may, what I
Yeah.
think you're talking about a little bit is the difference between relative truth and ultimate truth,
Hmm.
as well as our subjective experience in relation to relative truth and objective or unit sort of universal truth. You know, um, so I feel like a lot of the things that we that we strive for as pleasures, we come up empty on. I know that's my experience. You know, they they just don't satiate. But the experiences that do are these inner experiences, even if they come about through the culmination and combination of external events, being with someone at a beautiful place and the vibes are right, and and then you have this experience or whatever, you know. Um,
Hmm.
so the thing
Yeah.
about the truth is it's completely unique to all of us, and it
I
doesn't
mean, like,
really matter
what is
if
truth,
on
right? What
one
is
on one
lie?
hand the universal truth is something that we can have access to, but to communicate it, to share it, we all have to find our way to it through our subjective truth, you know. And so we all have filters, like you said, your belief system. You
Hmm.
can't let something else in. If you already got this thing in place, it's like a placeholder. And so the object, it's part of the object of Buddhism, is to be empty physically, but also mentally. The practice of just emptying your thoughts, not with a forceful mind, but just allowing them. And then the things, like you said, the other part is the struggle, releasing the struggle of the push and pull, running away from this, going towards that.
Mm-hmm.
Just what's meant for you will come. Some of it will be good, some of it will be terrible. Just let it come and let it go,
Mm-hmm.
like we were talking about before.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
cycle,
it's just
being okay with the coming and the going,
it
not being hung up on.
exactly, and it's just when belief system is in place. Like, I'm not saying run away from a belief system. Just like being alive is a belief system. Just being here is a belief system, right?
I
It's
think
like,
so, yeah,
I'm not
we
saying
should be
one is
all.
better than the other. I'm just saying that, just knowing that you know, life is amazing. Really.
Yeah,
I mean, like, you
totally.
can take it however you want, but I'm just saying, like, okay, if you see life like full of rabbit holes, full, like,
Yeah,
every step that you
problems.
take,
Everything's a
every step that
problem.
you take is a belief system. Everything that you do is a belief system. It's something, right? Like, your whole reality, it's based on your belief system. How you view the reality is like what you see, and how your reality looks like is just your belief system. So it's like everything is a belief system. It's like having like all these rabbit holes, but
Mhm.
like stepping in this and stepping in that.
That's traps.
It's all like how
They're
you
not.
climb out, like knowing that this is not your truth, that's not your truth, this is not
It's a,
lie either, because the
it,
rabbit hole is there, but there's not truth either, right?
it's a
Like,
briar patch, and
mhm.
that's the difficulty in the age of information. Is there's like a million people out there talking like we are and sharing their
Yeah,
belief
I'm saying, I
systems.
would say
And
something. That's why I always say, like,
big breath area.
whatever I say, don't
I
take
would
it into
say
like, oh, this is truth or whatever.
no. I
It's
would say
I'm not
even
saying
breath
anything.
area.
Hmm?
I would say even breatharianism is a belief system.
It
You know,
absolutely the biggest
and
one, the biggest one.
and so
Like,
according to the Buddhists, which is a belief system,
yeah, I
but
know. Like,
even still, according
according
to
to the
them,
Buddha.
their whole trip is dissolve all these belief systems. That's what leads to the perturbation of the mind. Believing in all these thoughts. You know, just let them come, let
Can
them
we
go.
start?
Feel
Can we
like
not
a movie,
believe?
like a mirage. Well, that's the thing is like they say, um, what's the whole thing of fake it till you make it? Sometimes there's things that we're trying to activate and manifest that we know that there's a truth to it. That was my experience coming to breatharianism. There's truth to this thing. I don't know. I just believe in
Yeah,
it.
but you will
I'm
get to
just
a
going
point where
towards it,
you know that
and
there's nothing to
so
call.
to not ultimately reject every belief system, but to view them as like a raft. Like Buddha talks about the Dharma. He said, you use it to get across to the other shore of enlightenment, and then don't carry the raft with you through the forest. You discard the raft. At that point, you're there. But
Mm.
this arrival comes with the conditioning, the habituation of mind that you are always in this place of your well-being by concentrating and focusing yourself in you just well-being is your nature. All you have to do is focus on your inner state, and it will arise.
Focus
So
on the inner states.
Distracted.
Makes
We
sense.
get distracted by this blind striving, the ego striving that wants, chocolate and wants to go out and do this and do that. Everything we do, we think is just going to lead to a little more pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can
I
just
know, that's exactly what I meant. It's always like, oh, I've achieved something. Oh,
yeah.
I've become somebody.
And
Oh, I'm a
everything's
monk right
obtainable to
now.
something else.
Oh,
You
I'm this.
find out
It's oh, yeah. It's always something like,
it's
instead
all
of just seeking,
preparation.
why not live now? Why not be now? Why
Yes.
not? Like, understanding that it's just right now, happening right now, right here, so you don't have to go and rush and run towards something,
Of course.
because you always seek and seek and seek. It's like chasing a shadow, your own
Hmm.
shadow. you know
Hmm.
you will never catch it,
Totally. And
but
we
it's
all do.
there. I
Yeah.
mean,
We all do.
so,
To be real. I do it.
yeah. And I mean, like, life is beautiful because of, we have that paradox, and it's like a puzzle, right? If it was easy, I wouldn't actually like it. It's like, it's this little puzzle you have to, like, find out. It's like
Yeah.
every day, it's like you wake up from this dream. You're like, okay, is this real? You just have to scratch your your head again, and you have to just figure out all over again. And
I totally
every
feel
day
that.
it's the same thing. Like you just wake up to this dream again, and then you just keep on continuing, trying to figure out. But if we, if you wake up and you believe in the dream every day, and then you keep on believing, you're gonna
I can
sink
tell
deeper and
you,
deeper.
I,
But
I can tell you the things that have been helpful to me because, I've been, I get sort of seasonally affected when I can't be out in the garden and everything. And after being in Costa Rica, I came back to the cold. You know, my wife and I are working through stuff. We're good. We have a lot of love, but there's just our internal differences we need to solve, And so it's like weighing on me, you know what I mean? And
Mm.
feeling all that. And the things that have been, this has just also been throughout my life, my experience, the things that lifting up are, doing something, putting effort forth and trying to help other beings. Help my little cat, with his little neck problem, give him some, some of the food he
Aw.
likes, and take my dogs for a walk and, nurture my plants or make my wife some breakfast, those kinds of things. When you get the mind off of me, like I want this, I want that, I want to do this and go there and feel this and be with those people, and I don't like this, and you just put your thoughts into action of helping other beings, and to me, it's like it feels very rewarding, very fulfilling, much more real and stabilizing, than
What
the
what
seeking.
is the pleasure that you get out of that? Like what kind of when you say like it's rewarding, I mean like that's that pleasure, whatever
Yeah,
we were seeking.
well,
Did it
they've
did
done
it quench that
studies on
thirst of seeking? Like
it. Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, and and there's various things that, and when I can just and it happens sporadically,
Hmm.
but also intentionally, just dropping into relaxation and being present,
Hmm.
you know. And when it comes, it has that. You guys know, I'm sure, was experienced it, that cosmic vibe. If you're just like, it all feels right, it just it's all
yeah,
clicking, and you're just vibing out,
I,
and it's easy and effortless, and you don't have to think about it.
mm,
And that's that's the state I think we can intentionally cultivate as a continuity.
I
Someone
have a few
is
questions.
channeling your cats.
I have a few questions for Nabiha, just like that popped up, but I was trying to find my way in. But uh, so when you were saying like all these beliefs, right? Do you feel like you don't have any beliefs? Like you don't want to believe anything?
I mean, I believe in you. I believe I'm here. I believe I'm part of this reality. I'm not saying
But that's a
belief system is bad. I'm not saying belief system is bad. What I'm saying is that what you believe is what you see. What you believe is what you create. So your reality is based on your beliefs, right?
Right,
So everything is based on beliefs. So
right.
I'm not saying belief system is bad, but what I'm saying is know that everything is based on belief instead of, you know, becoming the belief, right?
identifying.
When your life is based on your beliefs, that means like you also believe in it, right? When you believe in all of these things, then your life will be based on your belief system. But if you're aware that this whole thing is a collective belief, and you are aware that you create your reality, then you will, write your own story the way you want your story without becoming the victim of reality. Does that make
Well,
sense?
well, that's what I'm asking
Hmm.
because, like, I just recall, this scene where, you know, I always love my favorite movie, The Matrix, right? And somebody was frustrated at Morpheus. They got frustrated because they said, "Damn it, Morpheus! Not everyone believes what you believe,
Hmm.
right?" And do you remember what he said?
My beliefs do
No, I
not
don't remember.
require them to.
Exactly. He said, "My beliefs do not require them to. It doesn't matter because I have my own belief. It doesn't matter if they believe what I believe,
Mm-hmm.
but it seems
Now,
like a lot of times, because, you know, we've had conversations and it's almost like there's a frustration with people not understanding what you're talking about. Like they're not getting it. It's not clicking. It's not sinking in. It's almost like there's a want or like a feeling of like, I wish people could believe what I believe. And
Um,
what if,
I
but
mean,
if they
I
don't,
see what you mean. Yeah.
is it okay if they don't?
Yeah, I see what you mean. I really don't even want people to believe what I believe. I just want people to see their own beliefs or beliefs,
she
you know?
wants to break the limitations in the mind
Yeah,
that
it's like I don't
are
want you to believe
constantly
what
trying
I
to
believe in.
concretize.
My beliefs are like balloons. They just disappear anyway. Like they appear, they disappear, they appear, they disappear. I don't want anybody to believe anything I'm saying even.
Okay.
You know what, it you can see that frustration because of it's like I'm trying to use a human language to describe something that's not kind of possible to describe,
Well,
because I can't make you understand whatever. It's like I'm seeing something and I'm like, see the red color over there? You're like, what red? Like I
you know,
can't go inside your eyes and make you see the red. So I'm like, oh, okay, he can see the red. So I have to accept. So the frustration you see is like something I have to accept from my side. It's not something like, why can he not see the red color? It's like
I,
me have to understand, like, oh, okay, I just see the red color.
Right.
You
I,
know?
I think what we can trust is the inner truths because we don't even know if perception is, if your red is my blue, for instance, we may be talking about it in the same way, but we don't know
Yeah.
via our sense organ that there is a sense inside of us is like a higher level of knowing. And I would just offer that maybe what we're talking about here has a little bit to do with faith, which is different than belief or
Mm.
knowing. It's where, like Morpheus says, my beliefs don't require you to believe in my beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
I have faith in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put, I don't know if you've noticed in your life, but if you put a faith in a thing, that's when it materializes and becomes real. Not just
Yeah.
thinking of it, the manifestation of the creation of the mind and the imagination, but putting faith and action into that belief, and then it
Believing.
materializes, and
Yeah.
then you have
Okay.
knowledge from that experience that is trumps both the belief and the faith.
Hmm. I
I
mean,
would
like
offer.
where Morpheus were coming from that point of view was, I mean, his vision was his vision.
Right.
He saw what he saw. It doesn't matter. But I don't mean that. I mean more like, when that other guy went back into the Matrix and now he had to believe that this reality is actually real.
Right.
You know? He
Yeah.
knew that it's not real, but he chose to live in it.
Right.
So I mean, like from that point of view, like you have to know that this is the matrix and we are living here, but you have to move like you are awake and you know that this is the matrix and you know the way the truth is. You are here by choice, right? So now you can be trapped by the matrix if you know you are in the matrix.
It's
Because
it's a choice.
you know you are in here now.
It's a choice. I think
Yeah. You
Buddha
can't
is
just
a
be like the
matrix
victim,
buster.
like the one that's in it already and doesn't know that it's in a matrix. You cannot become like that guy cannot become like the rest of the other people in the matrix. But he went back in there choosing like, okay, hey, I'm going back here because I don't want to deal with the truth. The truth has too many, challenges in it, and I don't want to face that. I just want to be in this comfortable matrix. So now he
Mhm.
knows that, hey, I'm choosing consciously to live this real, but it's not real for him. He knows it's not real, so he's not a victim of that reality because
I,
he knows that this is not real, but he'll choose to live it as like it's real.
Right. Because earlier Jesse was saying he was talking about what we do for finances, what we do for resources, what we do to provide for family, or what we do to, sustain our lives or sustain our way of living, the different things that we do. And for some people, they work a job. Some people, they do different things to make an income, which is still in the matrix. So, when you have a job, when you're doing these things, do you go to your job thinking, oh, this is not real, like none of this is real? Like, you still show up every day.
Yes, I know, I'm acting.
Yeah.
You're just
I
acting.
like, yes,
That's
like the person that I
absolutely
am
good.
at work, the person that I am at the store, the person that I am at home, all of that I'm consciously put on act. Not like I'm saying like, okay, let me go and just act like this person. No, but I know that it's a job that I'm doing. It's something that I'm doing. Like I'm going and handling a duty that I sign up for. You know, I sign up for this job. I sign up to wake up like 7 a.m. every morning and then do this little act and then come back. And that's how I get some points. That's the credit here, right? So it's like I'm consciously participating in reality that I chose.
Hmm.
So yes, I am. I am aware of it. But I
This,
don't
this
live by saying like, okay, this is the matrix, this is the matrix, I'm avoiding this is not real. No, 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 no. I'm not neglecting the reality. The reality as real as it can get. But I'm
if
not
I,
a victim of it.
if I may, the matrix is primarily in our mind.
It
There's the matrix of the
is.
technocracy. That's something else that
Again,
is, I think,
the
a
belief system.
metaphor connected with that movie, The Matrix. That really it is a control system that it's this that's moving in the direction of what they kind of exemplify. But that on another level, there's an esoteric, more organic connection of we have the matrix in our mind of these belief systems,
Hmm.
like you're saying now.
I mean, the
And this
matrix
is what keeps us
is
stuck.
definitely in the
So,
mind.
but the other thing that I feel like you guys are touching base on is this concept from reality transurfing,
Hmm.
which is this Russian thing of, it's like the Mandela effect or multiple timelines. You can create different timelines for yourself and the rest of the collective based on every individual choice you make.
Hmm.
So it's about
Hmm.
consciously choosing and not with judgment towards yourself or anybody else's choices,
Hmm.
because we're all being guided by the Tao, our own internal Tao, presenting itself in this ebb and flow, this flux, state, for the evolution and growth of our spirit. So there may be things that we're doing that are maybe bad for us, that we're calling into our life, but that we're calling into because they have a vital lesson for our soul's growth. You know, there's,
Hmm.
there's more. This thing of fulfillment. There's so much more importance in actually the evolution and growth of and freedom of your soul than there is of longevity and wealth and your business and your family. You at the end you can't take any of that with you, but your soul's progression, the merit you build, the character you
Hmm.
define for yourself through your choices, that's what matters.
I mean, you were talking about reincarnation. Oh, you didn't, but you mentioned a little bit about it. So yeah, that has a lot to do with, you know,
Sorry.
returning to the same story or not. What is your take on reincarnation, Delano?
Yeah. So my question is like, when you
Your question.
when you're actively participating, like you said, you're consciously acting. You said, I know, I go to my job and I'm acting. It's not like I'm acting like, a character in a play, but I'm consciously acting out what I chose, what I signed up for. So has there ever been, at any point in time, is there ever resentment? Like, do you ever resent the fact that you participate willingly in a reality that you don't believe in?
Who said I don't believe in it?
But you said you don't believe in it.
I said it's there. It's as real as it can
But
get. It's not
just
like I'm not neglecting anything.
yeah,
I'm not neglecting what is. I'm not neglecting anything. I'm not believing in anything either. You see?
okay,
Like,
okay, okay.
you see, can you find a middle ground
Jerome
where
loves this
you know
tangle.
it's when you give your whole belief and your whole like you were saying, like your whole faith, towards something, that's when it becomes alive. That becomes a reality,
Yes.
right? So I know that this whole thing is like a collective consciousness, our collective consciousness. So it is as real as it can get because I'm part of this consciousness. So I cannot neglect and say like, okay, hey, this is not real. Right now I'm being delusional, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that I'm not saying like, okay, this reality do not exist, but I'm not saying that this is real either.
Well,
Can you
that's
find
that
that middle
relative
ground?
truth
Like,
versus ultimate
it's
truth again. The relative versus the ultimate.
yeah,
The ultimate
it's
truth is
like
that is real. None of but the relative truth, it is very much real. This
it's like yeah,
3D.
yeah. We're streaming this reality, right, with our collective knowledge, with our collective belief system. So whatever you believe, whatever I believe, I'm streaming all of that, right? So whatever this reality we are sharing, this picture together, this puzzle together is a puzzle that we put together, right? So I cannot say this puzzle do not exist. It's not here. But then at the same time, I cannot say like this puzzle is real as it can get. Like I'm not giving myself, I'm not submitting myself to either or. I'm in the middle because
That,
I cannot say 100% that this is real, and I cannot say 100% that it's not.
mhm,
So
that balance.
I'm content with that. I'm okay with that.
You're good
Because
with
now
that.
I'm not seeking to understand anything of that because I already understand. There's nothing to understand.
Yeah.
I
You
think
know.
that's part of the piece that we can find is the sort of integration of paradox like that.
Hello, cat.
Actually what you're talking about and saying is just like, I'm not attached. I, I see the reality of both these things and it's just what is. And it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. It doesn't have to be
No,
this or
yeah,
that.
you don't have to be attached or detached.
Generally speaking, from our inculcation into this reductionist scientific society, is that things are black and white. It's either this or that. Reality is this or that,
Yeah,
and
this
it's so much
world
more
is either flat
fluid.
or is round. No, it's maybe none
Maybe
shaped.
both.
Maybe it's none. It doesn't even have a
Maybe
shape.
in one dimension it's flat, and it's round, and one it's
Maybe
a
it's not even
tetrahedron.
either.
Maybe
Maybe
it's
it's not of it.
just color and no
Maybe
reference.
shapes are just like something that we exist in our mind.
Yeah,
Maybe that's the only way we can see. Maybe that's the only way our eyes are just shaped, and that's all we see, like squares. And maybe this whole thing is not even like in those shapes, but our eyes can only show us that. You take out this maybe eyes or whatever, and maybe the dog sees it differently. I don't know, but I'm like, who says anything is true? Who
just
says
to trust
anything is a
your
lie?
inner sense. I think your inner sense is the most, reliable guide, not your
Yeah.
five senses or
But how
anything
sharp
external.
is it when you have something that's always
Well,
giving you
we're,
some pictures, right?
we're
So
very
when someone is
distracted.
blind, yeah, they're more in
Mind,
tune
the
and they
mind
can
has
see more.
in the Buddhist
Yeah.
terminology, they call it monkey mind. It jumps around, darts here and there all over the
Mm-hmm.
place. And you have
Mm-hmm.
to train that monkey mind to just be still, you know.
I really
Um,
believe that a deaf person hears better than us,
oh,
and
yeah.
a blind person can see better than us with eyes, because we take those eyes for granted, and it's like, okay, ooh, oh, that's a TV. That's what a TV looks like, We don't put the work into like knowing, like, okay, what is a TV? Can you feel it? Can you feel like every time this thing is like around you, can you feel those radiation? Can like it has an energy. So when you're blind, you study all of that, so your senses are like higher, while we would just like take our eyes for granted. Same thing with our ears. Like we just take our ears for granted. Like when we hear something, while they have to sense the air coming through or what is happening here. Maybe there's a bee, but they can't hear it, but they can sense it. You know?
That's something we try to share in our classes is actually meditation on like sense concentration. You know, especially when you're
Mm,
eating, like herbs and plants and stuff like that. You know, taking a using your senses to, you know, take in the plant, you know, and connect with it and, you know, understand it as well as you can through these senses. But then there's another level in which you imbibe the plant and you feel it inside of you.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're, you know, practiced at it, you can actually feel which organ it's hitting, you know, um, and just to develop that awareness as part of like one of the um, side benefits or outcomes of meditation is then we can carry this ability to concentrate, you know,
Mm,
to the
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
external world and, you know, create or derive benefit, you know, from it. So it's
Wow.
interesting, the whole difference, the thing between perception and the inner state and the mind's tendencies, because it's always trying to differentiate and categorize and, you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
That's what the mind
and
is
to
for. You know,
relinquish
it's like a knife. It needs to slice everything.
and to
You
let it
know, this
let
is
it have its function and do its thing and not like get in its way, I think is also part of like this, you know, relinquishment of the control of it, or like trying to like, but you know, there's the whole thing of tempering, you know, tempering like a sword, you know, you
mm-hmm,
want to
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
get it honed and hard and sharp and, you know, and then
And then
it's useful.
again, you know, you
But
said your
our mind
perception, right?
is more like a cutting device, whereas the heart is got this other energy. And so that's where if we go into our core,
Mm-hmm.
to what we truly are, innermost self is our heart essence, you know.
I mean, like we're both. If you, again, no separation. It's like the balance between all. But I mean, we are. By the way, there's somebody here in the chat. I don't know if Jerome can see it, but I think you can see it. This person is really communicating with your cats, like telepathically. I
Yeah,
don't know. This person
yeah,
is still talking about the
no,
cat.
that's my buddy.
So,
That's my good
oh,
buddy,
okay,
and
okay.
he
I'm like,
likes
okay,
hearing me
maybe this
every
person
once
is
in a while.
talking
Yeah,
to Jerome's cat,
and
and
he got some
I
really
see so
cool
many
comments. I wanted
comments
to,
about cat, cat, cat. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
yeah, yeah.
No,
He's talking
that's
about collapsing waveforms and all kinds of wonderful science
Oh,
and dimethyltryptamine and the collective consciousness. He's my
awesome.
buddy.
Yeah, he can join too. But yeah, what I was what was I saying? Yeah, your heart and your mind, you know, it's a perfect match.
Yeah,
It's a perfect match. It's the yin and the yang. It's like it's the perfect match. You always have to be like, you know, fire and water, or everything has to be the opposite in order to find that harmony. You know, like you have to find the balance between the heart and the mind, and that's where you feel okay, now I'm fine. But
yes,
everybody is trying to say like, okay, leave the mind, and you know, the mind is this and the mind is that, and
yeah.
now
That's
we're
another
creating the enemy. The mind is not the enemy, you
those
know.
judgments.
It's like we just have to learn our body. We have to just learn to understand our body. And it's like instead of like seeking knowledge all the time, seeking something all the time, it's in here. You know, it's
Yeah,
within you. And
totally.
just sitting still with yourself and understanding yourself, the more you understand yourself, you understand everything else. And it's like how can you silence your mind to the point where you can hear your heart, you know, because we are too loud up here that we can never make, you know, we can never hear the heart, you know. So how can you find that, not silence, but you know, how can you find that balance where both of them are working together, because one cannot be without the other, right? So
Well, that's why I encourage, you know, time away from social media and stuff and books and everything, because actually when you go into words, it takes you out of that
mhm,
consciousness.
mhm,
You know,
mhm,
to use words, you're already breaking apart the reality and making judgments and all this stuff just with language, you know.
mhm,
So
mhm,
that
mhm.
whole Taoist concept of the truth that can be the Tao that can be spoken is not the real Tao. The
Mhm.
truth cannot actually be spoken. You know,
Yeah,
it's something we
I mean,
all
like
know, and we can all
be
feel.
the truth or whatever that looks like, because what is truth at
Yeah,
the end of the day?
yes,
You know, like
yes.
we have to just stop seeking whatever truth, whatever we're seeking. But
Be
I
truth.
mean,
Be your
like
truth.
how can we live? How can we understand ourselves more? Like, to me, the mission is, the more I
Yes.
understand myself, the more I understand the collective. The more I understand myself, the more I understand what is, right? But if I seek the other way around and I'm trying to understand things on the outside without understanding myself, I'm just going to be lost all the time. So every day I'm trying to understand myself, you know, in any kind of way that I can, and just through understanding myself, I understand everything else. I understand everyone else, and it's
You're a
just
microcosm.
realizing, you know, like, yeah, like just increasing my own consciousness about what is around me, you know.
I think that is the most valuable knowledge, and the way towards this freedom and fulfillment is knowledge of self, primarily
Truth is
learning.
the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I saw Haruka
Truth
put
is the
that.
rabbit hole, Haruka said.
Yeah.
I
Haruka
mean,
Nasir?
Interrobang.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said truth is
Oh
the
wow.
rabbit hole. I mean, what is a rabbit hole? Right? Everything is in a rabbit hole, then it's fine
And
to
it's
be
kind
in
of
there.
fun.
Like I said, I always say,
There's
huh?
there's some value in going down the rabbit
I
holes, I
mean,
think,
like,
you know.
you,
You
it's
you
beautiful to be,
it, it's interesting, and then you find out there's nothing down there and then you need something else, you know.
yeah, get out of it. It's how you get out of it.
Yeah.
Like you could entertain all the. I've been in so many rabbit holes, and I go in rabbit holes every day, and it's just like more rabbit holes and more rabbit holes. This whole reality is just full of rabbit holes. Like we go in one every day, but it's like, how real
Well,
do you think it is, and how long do you stay there? Do you know how to climb out? You know, but if
I
you really
think of it
believe this is it, you will never climb out. You'll be in
I
one
think of it
rabbit hole.
partly as being our orientation towards problems and solutions, viewing
Hmm.
things as problems and trying to figure out solutions for them. And that's valid. I mean, that's part of 3D living, you know.
Problem is
Gotta kind of get
solutions,
comfortable.
like they go hand in
Gotta get
hand.
comfortable with it. It's, you know, you're gonna run into problems, you know, and so you're gonna have to figure out. But
But what
the tendency
would
that
this world
I've noticed
be
in
without
myself,
that?
anyways, is like in trying to run business and trying to run family and household, that it becomes easy to start seeing everything as problems, you know, that need a solution. You know,
It's the
oh,
mindset
there's
and
this
your
mouse here, I gotta
perspective
clean this
on.
up. You know, this animal needs some food, you know. But if you reorient, like I was talking about before, of like trying to develop that bodhicitta mind of loving kindness, you know, and taking joy and pleasure, you know, it's about the motivation, the term in terms of fulfillment, you know, uh, it starts with our motivation primarily.
Hmm.
What are we? Are we doing some self-grasping, seeking that we're trying to get out of a relationship or a thing, you know, or are we seeking to be in the joy of co-creation and adding value to one another through respect and integrity, you know? Um,
I
so
really believe in like treat other people the way you want to be treated. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
every religion says that, you know, and if you just really like embody that and you know that, then you know, if you really want to be treated with
yeah.
love, you just treat other people with love and respect, you know,
I think
and
that's
that's
pretty much what
just
we're doing in
it.
meeting. Yeah, I
Like
agree. I
it
think
shouldn't
that's like
even,
that,
yeah, I don't know why that is so
that's
difficult.
real spirituality. You know, I think
Mm-hmm.
really,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like anything like fancy belief systems or practices or you know uh, powers or it's just being kind and cool and loving and fun. You
Yeah,
know, and that I
it's
mean, it's not
even
always fun.
if it's
We
something you
just
have
try
to
to bring
force,
that.
you have to
You
sit a very long time and, you know, work fast and do all the other things, you know, if you have to really force just being kind. Then you have a lot of parasites or something, because everybody is born, you know, as a loving being,
and
you
free.
know. So whatever nastiness you ever accumulate, it's something that you can really cleanse and shed, you know. So just knowing that, you know, but don't like force. Like if you have to really force, you know, like work with the deeper, you know, traumas. Like why do you feel the need to just be nasty? Why do you feel the need to be like angry all the time? Why do you feel the need to hurt someone or like question yourself
Anger,
because you're not born evil. No one
anger
is.
is the protector of sad. When someone's angry, they're just hurting, you know. So it's good to remember that when someone's like popping on you hard because you feel it, the force of their energy,
Hmm.
you know. But they're actually losing their power in time. You put so
Yeah.
much energy into the protector of anger that it drains you, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes anger is a higher emotion than depression, for instance, is anger, you know. But then they're higher
And
than
a
that.
lot of the times also it could be just what you eat.
Yeah.
Like what
And
you
Bia,
put
you
in
look
comes out.
sleepy.
But really, like I have literally seen and witnessed that some people when they eat certain things, how they behave and how it makes them change.
I
You
noticed it
know,
myself moving away from meat. When I ate meat and drank alcohol, I was still a Buddhist. I was striving for all this peacefulness, and drinking coffee, I just had this like inside of me, you know.
it's a
And
lot of people that are alcoholic and very spiritual and very
totally,
you know
we all are.
religious people.
Everything.
But that's like
Yeah,
they use it as a bandage, like you know, like oh, you know, I do good things, you know, I don't just sin. It's like they punish themselves, and then they think they are sinners, and now they're punishing themselves again by thinking like, oh my God, I have to like, you know, yeah, I did a
but
bad thing, bad
if
you, oof, you know, like
if it helps you be a kinder person and it helps you be better to yourself and others, you know, even I think that
yeah,
self-flagellation can be, you know, it's not the preferred, it's not the most skillful, it's definitely one of the lowest ways, but it's still, you know, there's value if it creates that effect of becoming more positive, you know.
Self-flagellation. What is that? Self-flagellation. What does that mean?
Whoosh, whoosh, whipping yourself. Here in New Mexico, they have a tradition called the penitentes, and these people would wear masks and go around on walks, whipping themselves, you know, in sort of the Passion of Jesus sort of way of. And it's interesting. It kind of connects with the Buddhist practice called Tonglen. They don't self-flagellate and inflict pain purposefully, but they say, if I have to take pain, let me take it for the all. Let me absolve it from the collective. And so in that martyrdom kind of way, they would whip themselves, you know, and bleeding and, you know, just terrible, you know, dark. But, and I don't think you're still inflicting pain on a being that way. I think that's actually, you know, doesn't
mm,
create merit or positive karma in any way. It just, unless it helps you be a kinder person.
mm,
Huh.
um, mm.
Because
I mean,
knew
like you
there was
know,
like this guy I knew that was a surfer, skateboarder. When we were kids, he was older than us, and he was all tatted, you know. And he had the only half pipe in town, and he would let all his kids go there and skate on his ramp. And he got, you know, into surfing, and he got into body modification where they were like implants and stuff in his tattoos. And then he started getting into hanging himself on hooks.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. I've seen that.
And he was a totally kind, like awesome,
he
like
went into what
positive.
was the last step you
Hanging
said?
the
Hanging
hooks.
himself on hooks. He would pierce hooks into his skin and dangle from it. And the whole idea for him was transcendence through pain. You know, it becomes so painful that at a certain point, the pain stops and it all becomes the same.
Oh, oh,
I don't think that's not something as a Buddhist, I'm all about like the kind, gentle effects,
yeah.
you know.
I didn't even
But
know, but
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he
There's levels.
he
There's
felt
levels. Yeah.
he felt it helped
mm,
him, you know. in his spirituality and his and he always just showed positivity. So I can't fault him, really. You know, weird.
You
I mean,
never knew
like
about that?
it's not like he was doing to other people, but it's just the pain, that he is going through in order for him to perform that on himself is
Well,
what I'm
sometimes
feeling.
the emotional pain is at such a
Yeah.
fever pitch that physical pain can kind of make it go
Yeah,
down.
it's like what I'm saying is like we are saying oh about the physical pain, but I think
Emotional
the
pain.
emotional pain is greater than that physical pain, that you get so numb that you don't even feel that. So now you just want to get to a point where you just want to feel. You
Mhm.
know, it's like any drug addict, or you know how people who snort drugs and stuff like that, eventually they can't feel, and that's why they start injecting. If I'm not wrong, right? They start injecting because of they can't just snort anymore because, or they can't just like
They will
take it through
destroy
their nose
their
anymore.
they will
Uh,
destroy the nasal
yeah,
cavity with their addiction.
because of like
Like
it
it's
gets so
bleeding and they can't.
overstimulated, right? Like right now, actually, I bought some orange juice for my sister and her kids because everybody's coughing in this house. I was like, okay, look, I need some vitamin C, so I bought some orange juice, and their version of orange juice is just like a sugar version. So the little one, she tasted, she's like, oh my God, it tastes like water. I'm like, oh my God, no, it's not like water. It's sweet. And then my sister grabbed it and she started drinking it. She's like, yes, it's water. And I said, you know what? That's because of you. You must be numb.
Yeah,
They have had so much
people.
sugar that their tongue and everything is just so numbed. It's like paralyzed that they don't even feel it. They don't even feel the like natural sugar.
That's
So
one of the beauties of
so it's
that
it's,
they're
it's
in
the
front.
same thing like one drug addict, when they inject themselves like at one spot over and over and over again, they don't feel anything anymore. I've actually had someone look at my blood vein and say like, "Oh my God, your veins so beautiful." I'm like, "Who says that?"
They
You
said your
know?
veins are beautiful.
Yeah. I'm like, how can someone just give you a compliment? Like, there was a summer day in the
Well,
park and we were
it's
drinking and stuff. It was a while ago, but
it's
I thought that
it's
was
actually
weird.
it's a marker people can recognize of
Yeah,
health.
that's
It,
vitality.
it means
Hmm.
Vitality. Yeah, yeah.
your vascular health. If you can see your veins, then that
Yeah.
means there's good cardiovascular
Hmm.
health. You don't have a lot of
Yeah.
excess on causing blockage.
Yeah. But I mean, no, I've never had anybody just, commenting on veins and,
Yeah, I remember back when I was
Huh?
I had the most veins that you could see that were like bulging was back when I was boxing heavily. When I was
Hmm.
heavily in the gym and I was boxing and I was, doing, road work, jump rope, working the heavy bag and the speed bag and the double end bag and then sparring with people in the gym. My veins were crazy. And then I remember walking into a grocery store and I seen a lady, and I think she was in her 50s, and her arms looked like mine.
Hmm.
Her veins were popping out like mine. I said, "What do you do?" And she said she does a lot of gardening.
Hmm.
She was heavily into gardening, so she was always working with her hands, always
Hmm.
working with her body. And I was like, "Miss, ma'am, like your veins look like mine." It was
So
you saw the vitality, you saw the youthfulness, you seen the energy. Yeah.
this
Hmm.
is the key point. I'm glad you brought this up because I was just, I've got this bent for longevity. I'm researching a lot because I think it can help me achieve to develop more merit in this life and more consciousness. And so one of the things that is usually over neglected in the longevity talk, they talk about all kinds of supplements, fasting, and all the different things. But one thing is motility or mobility units.
Hmm.
Your body starts losing mobility units in their 30s, especially if you don't practice. As you get older, it's more important that you practice, things to increase your mobility and daily
Exactly.
play
And it
and
makes just
movement.
sense.
And,
If you
Mhm.
think about it, it
and
just makes sense.
Yeah.
that is one of the things that leads to the longevity more than anything else, actually.
Yeah, it's like you
Yeah.
have a car and
Yeah.
you just let us sit out there and never drive. How long can you have it? You know, like you have to test drive it like here and there. You know, even if you're not driving it, like just drive here and there just to test drive it. You know, like if it's still working. It's the same thing with the body, but people will sit on their
Yeah.
couches, watch TV for the rest of their life, and then eat some junk, and then expect to live. Like you're lucky you even exist now.
It's
You know?
amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's amazing how oh my, I can't even imagine. But
Our
like
processed
we
food,
really have to move. Like that's the
EMF.
most important. That's the most important. Like I don't do any weights or something like that. I wish I did more weight, but I really
It's
think it's just like, using your own body weight or just like moving.
calisthenics and resistance.
Hmm.
It's good to do resist, but just you don't have
Just
to do a lot
shaking,
of
even like, just gets your lymphatic
shaking.
system just moving. We are like literally like water. So we need a movement. If you just keep on moving, I guarantee you can live for a very long time.
Mm.
You
It's
can.
part of the breatharian science is that all the fascia is like this microcrystalline structure that's
Mhm.
like mucus, but when it is stays still too long, it crystallizes, and
Mm.
this is part of the electron transport chain. So this is how energy moves through the body.
Mm.
So if you have like a crystallized structure, then you have stagnation where energy can't flow through. You know,
Logic. It's not even like something you have to read through books or anything like that. It's just simple logic.
it makes
It really
sense.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it makes sense because,
that's what I
like,
love about this lifestyle is it's like if you look at the way people used to just live and be on the land,
mhm.
that was just the lifestyle that it was the
You climbing
breatharian
up the
lifestyle.
mountain, up and down all day, Nobody sat in their little huts just sitting there. Nobody does that. Like the body is not even designed to just sit still. But in
Yeah.
this kind of, this era, you can really see someone who says like, "Oh, I haven't left my living room for 5 years." That body is still there. Like it makes you think of the placebo. Like they really just believe that, oh, I'm getting nourished every day. Oh, I'm like some bodies you can't even imagine that one heart is holding that whole thing together. Like it doesn't even make sense. But it's like,
One
yeah.
of the crazy
Oh.
things I thought about when I started into this lifestyle was imagine if I put all the food I ever ate in one pile,
Hmm.
how big a pile that would be.
Yeah.
Mountain, you know,
Mm.
just going through
Mm.
here, you know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I
Yeah.
think if you think about the drag on the system, it's something we learned at the Juice Guru Institute,
Mm.
is there are food that take more energy out of you to digest than you get out of the
Exactly.
food.
Logic again.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
would you think like something that you putting into work is gonna give you some type of energy? Like you
Yeah.
you just used energy,
To
before
break it down.
before
Doesn't
even the
matter if
thing
it's
over inside,
water.
you just used all that energy to just like chew it and swallow it, and like then now your system is like all of that. Like, how do you expect that? It doesn't even make sense unless I'm just breathing in and that gives me some type of like something in my body that wakes me up or something like that. But like for me to choose something and then like all of this energy and then expect it to give me anything in return, I just killed it.
Hmm.
you know
Yeah, yeah.
it doesn't even
Totally.
make sense. Like the energy that I put in is the energy that I'm getting back.
Mm.
Like regardless, that's the karma I'm getting back. So it's illusion again, that matrix guy is like, okay, let me eat this steak.
Yeah. And
The
we have
steak
to
was
kind of
real.
train our mind away from it and our bodies. I think there's people, with faith or have gotten to ecstatic states that just spontaneously, jump into breath energy. But I think it's something, my experience is we can train to it. Anyone can train to it,
Trained
you
to
know.
to
But
become
it
breatharian.
yeah,
We all are
but
already,
you have to, we all are already, and that's the thing is breaking up, like you were talking about to begin with, these belief systems that keep us stuck and won't allow other truths and experiences to come in.
Mhm.
I hate to say it, family, but my wife's gonna step in a couple minutes. I have to pee like so bad because I drank, a gallon of juice before the
Aw.
live. So I'm gonna have to
Feels
Oh,
nice.
good. It
Alright.
was wonderful. It was wonderful.
always,
Much
friends,
love.
always. Love you guys. Have a beautiful week, or a beautiful strong. I like to call it a strong. And sending all the blessings to you all and everyone. I hope you got something from this. I know you did. And love and blessings to everybody.
Yeah.
Have
Alright,
a
bye.
beautiful day. All right.